There's only 3 hours left until the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. With that, I want to talk about some realistic expectations for tomorrow. Now, I have put out a video talking about the possibilities of different games that we might see. But in my opinion, do I think that we're actually going to get any games tomorrow? No. I think there will be announcements. I don't think anything will actually be released tomorrow, but I do think there's going to be some announcements. Now, is it possible that there's a Nintendo Direct going on? I mean, I'm still kind of leaning towards hopeful, but if I'm going to be honest, that hopeful has turned to about 30% probability, in my opinion. Now, I'm still leaning towards I hope it does happen, but I don't think it's going to be very likely. What I do think we'll get is a sort of third-party type of announcement. So something like Jakks Pacific might make an announcement of figures, a new toy line perhaps, or the continuation of the old World of Nintendo line. Who knows what we'll see with merch-wise. That's what I'm pretty excited for, is the toys. With that being said, I think there's also a possibility that we might get another little sneak peek of the Legend of Zelda movie. I think it's possible to come out on the Nintendo Today app, which I have been seeing them ramp up a little bit more of, in my opinion, the Ocarina of Time stuff. I think like they evenly put up all different Legend of Zelda stuff, but for the past few days leading up into this 40th anniversary, they have been leading with a bit more of the Ocarina of Time pictures and different things that they have on the Nintendo Today app. So I think it's very possible that on the app we're going to see some sort of update announcement, something merch-wise. Now, if they do announce a game, it definitely won't be coming out tomorrow. That's for sure. But it is possible that we have an announcement tomorrow of a game coming out later this year. Now, remember, the 40th anniversary is February 21st, but that doesn't mean that Nintendo doesn't plan on celebrating Zelda's 40th anniversary the entire year. If we do see that, it might be later on announcements. So say tomorrow we get 1 or 2 smaller announcements. It is possible we start to see that trickle-down effect where they put out certain little tidbits of things, such as a new piece of merch, a new figure, a new accessory, something, maybe even possibly another exclusive to the Nintendo store, who knows. Now, I am still hopeful of some of these remakes. A lot of people have been speculating a few different remakes. Number 1 on my list was Ocarina of Time. I think that game massively deserves a remake. It is my all-time favorite game. And there is part of the community that doesn't want it to be remade, said it's pure magic the way it was, leave it alone, don't fix what's not broken. I fully understand that. But coming from my point of view, I think the younger generations are having a hard time getting into that line of Zelda because of how dated it is. Now, I don't think it aged bad. I think it aged great, to be honest. But there is a lot of newer technology and newer graphics, and so it might be harder to get some of these younger kids onto those games. So I see that being a bridge to kind of open up the old school Zelda to the younger generations who really just know about Zelda through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm kind of hopeful for that. Now, another remake that a lot of people are talking about, I think most people are hopeful for this, is the Twilight Princess HD and the Wind Waker HD. Now, I have been hearing rumors, and, I don't know if I would call them leaks or just rumors for the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, but if they did release that on a double pack Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge, I mean, that would be really, really cool. Plenty of people have been waiting for Twilight Princess HD on Switch. We didn't get it on Nintendo Switch, but I think there is a possibility that we do get it on Switch 2. Now, I'm not saying it'll be definitely announced tomorrow, but I think there is a big, big chance at least sometime very soon, we do get that. Personally, I think that's more likely to happen than the Ocarina of Time remake, even though I'm very hopeful for that. If I'm being honest, I think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are going to come before anything, other than Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages games. That I can see happening. Because of what they did with Link's Awakening and that remake, I can actually see that coming pretty soon. That seems more likely, in my opinion, just because of the style of game it was, and it's also the same developers from the original Link's Awakening. So it would make sense that if that went well, they said, hey, can you do more? Which would lead them to those games. Now, it could be Oracle of Seasons and Ages, or it could be also that third game that we never got. Because at the time, it was time constraints and technology constraints where it was going to be a lot to make it a trilogy. So we only got the 2 of them. That being said, if we do get a third game, I think that would be really cool, and that would truly make it stand out a bit more from its predecessors of just Oracle of Seasons and Ages for Game Boy Color. Now, another thing that needs to be mentioned is tears in reality. Now, I don't know if there's much credibility to this. I'm going to let that be known. I saw it on Reddit, and I saw it talked about on podcasts as a leak. Now, I don't know how credible that is, but it is something that I think Nintendo would do, if I'm being honest. We are in the age of trilogies, and I feel like Nintendo kind of wants to wrap up the Wild era, and I don't think they would leave Tears of the Kingdom at the end just to be the wrap-up itself. I think there is one more possibility that we do have another Wild era game, but I think that would be the last one. Now, I know plenty of you are, full fans of the series because of the Wild era. Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom was your first game that you got into the Zelda series. And that's amazing. But I promise you guys, there is so much more to Zelda than just the Wild era. And I feel like coming back to the linear structure a little bit, after experimenting and succeeding heavily with this open world adventure style of Zelda, I think it'll be a good refresh on what the Legend of Zelda series could be going forward. So I'm hopeful for that. That's just my opinion. Other than that, the only real things that I think we're going to get tomorrow are announcements for merch. That's what I'm really banking on. They've been announcing so many different toy releases for the Super Mario movie. I think it's only bound to happen that we're going to get something really cool for the Legend of Zelda. So let's stay tuned and see what happens. We are less than 3 hours away. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think is really going to happen.